Hey, Dallas Trombley here at Henry Hudson Park. When I woke up this morning at like 7:30 a.m., this was the first person I saw.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
Jamie, what were you doing here so early?
So I'm a boat launch steward here working with the Partnership for Regional Invasive Species Management. I do boat inspections and I try and educate the public on what we're looking out for.
Cool. So boat inspections for like free riders and mollusks and stuff?
Yeah, anything that's sticking on, hanging like vegetation hanging off the boat or the trailer, I just look for that and try and remove it if I see something.
Cool. Can you go up to somebody and kind of like require them to do it, or is it a voluntary thing?
So I tell people, yeah, it's 100% voluntary. They can say no to me. I'm an educator, not an enforcer.
Okay.
So my goal is to get the public more on the same page as the DEC and the scientists. I'm a facilitator between the two in a way.
Cool. So if you're just going from one part of the river to another, should you get an inspection, or is that like...
Yeah, I'll do an inspection either way. When it's Hudson to Hudson, different locations, I mean, what's in here is already in here.
Mhm.
A big thing is to do the inspections when people are coming out, so if they don't bring it to other places.
Gotcha. Actually, I had to take a boating safety course in order to operate a motorboat. That's a new requirement of January 1st. And that was one of the modules. You have to inspect when it comes out,
It's big.
Gotcha. So what kind of invasive species are you seeing coming out of the river?
The most common thing I see is the water chestnut, which actually that's the seeds for them.
These guys, the bullheads.
Yeah.
That'll go right through your sandal.
Oh yeah, they're a real pain. I've stepped on them before.
Yeah, me too.
But they're known for taking over an area of more still water. So it affects fishing and kayaking and all that. And obviously you don't want to step on these bad boys.
Right.
But what's crazy about these is they can get buried in the sediment and they can be there for 10 years before you see a plant.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean you can have 3-4 years without a patch there, and then 1 year you have a whole mat sitting and taking up a boat launch or a fishing pond or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, the devil's heads or the bullheads. I know a lot of people are familiar with those. So are they actually chestnuts, or is that just something that...
As far as I know, I think that's just what they're called.
Right.
I don't think there's any like relation to
Right.
an actual chestnut.
Right. But they float, and then they tend to get into still areas?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So somewhere like in this area, the Hudson, where the flow's a little bit stronger, it doesn't really tend to establish itself too much. You might see 1 or 2 plants, but up in the Kills where the water flow slows down a bit, they can close up an area.
Right. New York is a Dutch area, so a lot of the streams are called kills, like Catskill, Fishkill.
Yeah. Flomankill.
Flomankill,
Yeah.
right? Pointenskill, I think I might be killing that.
Yeah.
So then, how did this doesn't look like it would stick to a boat. How would you figure out if that was on a vessel?
So usually like the seeds, they'll just float ashore. But what I would see on the vessel would be the actual plant itself. It's a long stalk, and then it has like floating leaves on top, and they make patches about that big.
Okay.
But when they take over, they're sitting on top of each other. That's
Yeah.
how many there are.
Okay, I just always assumed those were lily pads.
Yeah, and that's lily pad is a pretty general term. There's a lot of things that we call them. And
Okay.
there's a lot of native lily species.
Gotcha.
This is one of the lookalikes that isn't as good.
Gotcha. What are some of the other ones that you've got to worry about?
So, right now, Eurasian milfoil is one that's kind of in the area. It's not as common, but it affects the same. It affects the fishing and the swimming. It's actually really dangerous in some areas because it can get so dense it can wrap up around your legs and cause problems as far as swimmers go.
Wow.
And then hydrilla is another species that we're kind of keeping an eye out for. It's, again, not fully established, but in some of the southern parts it's coming in, and so we're trying to avoid it moving further north. that one's dangerous because it's same thing. It's really dense mats and affects your swimming and boating. But that specifically can spread from fragmentation. So just a little leaf or like a little part of the stem can start a new.
Oh, what do they call that? Like a
individual.
bud?
Yeah.
Budding or whatever. Wow, interesting. Yeah. Look, I think I saw some folks from the DEC taking some samples earlier,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and they were saying it was called eDNA, right? A forensic analysis of whether or not these things get established in the water.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole process is kind of new, but it's wild how they can do it. You put a couple liters of water through a 5 micron something filter,
Mm-hmm.
and it catches actual like detritus and fish DNA, and it can give you a clue to what's in the area. And so they look for a certain number of species, and whether it be invasive or native, and from those samples, I mean, it takes 2-3 months to process. You have to send it off to a lab and all that, but it's crazy how much it can tell you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, like, just so people are aware, like, what's the problem? I mean, so we've got some floating chestnuts. What's the big deal? Why worry?
They outcompete native species. They're very aggressive, and so like natural fluctuations in water temperature and all that doesn't affect them as much. So their populations can explode
I see.
very quickly. And I mean, in the Hudson, fishing is a huge industry, and so anything that starts to affect that, take away from the income and the fun of the people that live here, that's something that we don't want.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that people don't understand is there is an economic impact to environmentalism, and we all suffer for it when the environment suffers. Cool. And so how did you get involved doing this?
So I actually just kind of found the opportunity online, but I went to school for environmental studies and conservation, and so it's kind of like I'm huge on public education for environment, and so
Yeah.
I figured it fit my niche pretty well, and here
Yeah.
I am.
Right. And so do you work for a local nonprofit?
It's kind of confusing. It's
Okay.
the Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Yep.
The organization is the Capital Region PRISM, which is the Partnership for Regional Invasive Species Management.
Okay.
And we're all funded by the DEC and the EPF, the Environmental Protection Fund.
Gotcha.
So it's technically a state, but there's university in there and private organization as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Did the EPF come, do you know, I don't know, out of a settlement from Storm King Mountain? I might be off, I don't know.
It's a state fund that's split across all different programs.
I see.
And the DEC kind of runs who gets that money.
I see.
But it's just it's an overall fund to protect the environment that we care about so much here in New York.
Great. And did you grow up around here?
I grew up in the Syracuse area, moved out here for the summer, and not quite sure where the next step is.
I hear you. My next step is the Syracuse area because,
Oh, yeah.
they got the Erie Canal Museum out there. I can't wait. Got to do the little plug. It's the 200-year anniversary of the Erie Canal being completed, which is actually another thing. If you read the annual reports, you've got the income, the infrastructure, stuff like that, but also the effect on the environment, the hydrography, I guess is the word that you would use, the invasive species,
Absolutely.
and water rights. So like I didn't really ever think about that impact that the Erie Canal has outside of, transportation or recreation.
Oh yeah, and they all play into each other.
Yep.
Everything's connected around here.
Sure, and that's what the Erie Canal did, was it connected, right?
Yep.
Yeah, great, cool. Well, it's been nice talking to you. Say your name again?
Jamie.
Jamie, cool. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, folks, and I'll catch you later.